Hi, honeybees.
Hi.
This is my fiance, Chris. And you guys, if you watch the vlogs, you probably recognize him, but we're gonna do our engagement story for you guys, and I thought it'd be fun to have him here too, so he can give you his perspective on everything. That would be my mother. So you guys can get his perspective as well as mine, because actually, I was really sad because we lost our engagement footage, as most of you know by now. And I cried for hours. I'm past it. We have the moment together, but problem with that is I don't remember a lot after he got down on his knee, so he's gonna tell you guys some of the things that I don't have any recollection of, because I was a mess, in a good way though. That sounds bad. Okay, let's just start. So
Wait. Before we start,
okay.
Might I say how gorgeous she looks right now? I mean, seriously.
No, I don't, but thank you, babe. I love you.
Right, but it probably should be noted that I'm on a chair much shorter than yours. I'm not really this
Yeah,
short.
I look really tall right now. I'm only 5'6", so it's not correct. But okay, this is gonna be 40 minutes long if we don't start.
Oh, that's true.
But okay, so when we were going to Vegas, I purely thought it was for my belated birthday gift.
It was so hard to keep that everything a secret too, trust me.
And so all I thought is we were going to stay at the Venetian and we're gonna see the Enrique concert. I surprised Chris, and I do quotation marks as he found out, that we were gonna go to the Beatles Love Show.
It was awesome.
I did know that we were gonna go to a fancy dinner the night that we arrived, so I was prepared for that, but I wasn't prepared for what happened prior to that. And I think the reason he was able to surprise me is because he had already told me, I'm gonna have surprises for your birthday, you know, going up to the Enrique concert. So you don't get to plan anything, you don't get to know anything, but just know there'll be surprises. So I was thinking it was just for my birthday, essentially. And so we drove up to Vegas.
I drove up to Vegas.
I mean, you know, in the car together, but yeah, he drove the whole time because I hate to drive, to be honest. And he surprised me in the car with this really beautiful bracelet from Pandora. I'll insert a picture because I'm not wearing it at the moment. And it has really these pretty rose gold charms on it that have like interlocking hearts, and it's my first rose gold charms. They were beautiful. So I was thinking, okay, that was the surprise, like we're done. I thought that was the only surprise. I was very wrong. When we got there, like I said, we stayed at the Venetian. We had a beautiful room. I loved it. Did you like it?
It was a nice suite.
Yeah. And so obviously I take a lot longer to get ready. And
a lot longer.
Babe, I only take like an hour usually, right?
Compared to my 10 minutes, yes.
Yeah. So because I was gonna take longer, he left and like went walking around doing his thing. You can tell him what you did if you want. While I was waiting. No, you don't want to tell him. Okay, what did I just say? He came back with these two little dice, whatever, charms from Pandora, and you can only get them in Vegas.
Exclusive to Vegas.
Yeah, so
and
that
she had mentioned that she really wanted them, so.
I was gonna buy them myself though, so that was really sweet that he did that for me.
Not on my watch.
And so that was a surprise. And he also brought me a bath bomb because I mentioned like, oh man, I should have brought my bath stuff, because they had a really beautiful bathtub.
Oh yeah, they had a really nice store that had all kinds of all-natural bath goodies, I guess. They had bath bombs, Epsom salts, everything. It was, did you like it?
Yeah, it was nice.
Didn't get a chance to crawl in the tub with you. Because we were being nice.
Yeah, well, we won't get into that story, but yeah. So then we got ready for the dinner, because I knew we were going to get dressed up for that. I could tell that you were super nervous for some reason. He was acting kind of like fidgety with his stuff and asking me questions about his tie and stuff. Why are you looking at me?
My suit was way too small.
But you were, it seemed like you were nervous. Like you kept asking me, should I wear this or not? And then you were kind of getting like frustrated with it.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, so I knew something was up in the matter of, I knew you had a surprise for me, but I didn't think it was engagement. And he told me we had to go to the 6 o'clock Bellagio fountain show, that it was the best show. I'm naive, so I just believed it.
It really wasn't.
But apparently there isn't any difference. And then it was still in like the mid to high 90s in Vegas, so it was pretty hot, and I was in heels. And as most of you guys know, I had ankle surgery almost 2 years ago now. So I can't really wear heels very often. I have to have very short distance walking. And this plays a part in the story, that's what I'm telling you. So Chris was so thoughtful, and he got a town car for us to drive us to the Bellagio. And he told them that we need to be dropped off in the very front, middle, right where the fountain show was of the Bellagio.
Yeah, there's a little pavilion area. I don't know if pavilion's the right word, but no trees,
Like
nothing. Yeah, it's right in front of the fountains where you can see it, and I needed to be there for a certain reason.
Yes.
And I was told that I would be able to be dropped off there, but...
Yeah, but. So we had an older gentleman driving our town car, and he was very serious about dropping us off in the correct location. It was illegal, according to him, to drop us off in the front of the Bellagio, where Chris was told that we would be able to be dropped off.
Meanwhile, while he's saying this, there are cars parking in front of where we need to be dropped off and letting people out.
Yeah, most likely like lifts, and yeah, people are getting... So I can imagine you were frustrated. You didn't really... I was reacting to it more than he was, and I was telling the gentleman if he could please drop us off on just the side of the corner where there's not traffic, because I understood why he thought it was unsafe to do it in front of the Bellagio, because there is really traffic. There's no like parking area to pull over at.
There's a little lane.
Well, yeah. But I kind of understood that, but to not be able to just pull on the side of the corner where there's no cars and let us off, so we didn't want to have to walk all the way around the Bellagio, because it's a far distance, it really is, when you're trying to
It felt like half a mile at least.
Yeah, so he was very insistent that he would not do so, and he would only drop us off at the very front of the Bellagio. So Chris and I were both quite frustrated with that, but we didn't yell at the man or argue with him, because there really wasn't anything to argue about. He was not willing to do it. So when we got out, the gentleman kept telling us like, oh, you can just watch the show over here. It's really pretty from here. And then when we started walking, the show was about to start. It was like 2 minutes from the show starting at 6, and I was telling Chris like, babe, my ankle's gonna hurt, like we're gonna get sweaty before we go to our nice dinner, like can we just watch it right here? Like you can see it everywhere. Because I'm still thinking he just wants to see the show. And he's like, I will carry you. We are getting to the front of that ballot, and I was like, okay, like just so.
Well, at that point, you were getting pretty insistent. So at that point, I had to let it slip. Like, look, I have something planned, and we need to be there.
And even when he said that, I was like, okay, he has like a photographer set up to take pretty pictures for us or something, because he had said something in the hotel room that kind of like hinted that we might kiss. And I was like, oh, maybe we'll take a cute photo. Totally went over my head.
I told you to bring more
lipstick. He said, oh, make sure you're bringing your lipstick. And I was like, why? And he was like, because you might have to reapply or something like that.
Yeah, I said, because I'm going to kiss it off.
Yeah, I don't know, something to that matter. And then I said, well, you can't kiss me till we take a picture or something like that. And you said, oh, I hope that's not the case. It's going to ruin the moment or something like that. That should have given it away to me. But I still totally went over my head. Okay, so we finally made it to the middle front of the Bellagio. We maybe saw 5 seconds of the fountain show complete, right? Wouldn't you say? It was pretty much over once we got there, which was kind of funny.
It was a good couple minutes. It was not a couple minutes. It was the last section.
We got maybe 30 seconds.
Either way, it was not hardly enough. And actually, the show wasn't even that spectacular, to be honest.
Well, it's pretty. It was pretty when we were at dinner.
It was prettier later, yeah.
So when we turned around, when the show was done, so we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna walk to dinner now. There was a guy and you could tell that someone was with him filming for him. And I thought he was some kind of street performer, like...
And he had commented at us when we walked by, too.
Oh, that's right. He said, oh, make sure to come watch the show, or something. We're like, yeah, that's what we're doing. I remember I was like, duh, why do you think we're walking over here? Really nice guy, though. And when we turned around, he started chatting with us and asked us what we were in Vegas for, if we're having a fun time. And then he mentioned that he's a magician that does street performance and films for YouTube and does YouTube videos. Of course, that piqued my interest, and I said, oh, I do YouTube videos too. And we started talking a little. At this point, he asked us if we wanted to be part of his show and do a few magic tricks. And I looked at Chris, because our reservation was probably like 20-25 minutes away from that point, and I was willing, but I like looked at you and you were like, Yeah, right.
As long as we can make the reservation.
Yeah. So then they started miking him up. Not only him, but they said, we're only miking him up because we need to hear his reactions to things. So I'm still oblivious. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're all getting set up with their magic stuff, like the cards for the tricks and stuff, and getting the cameras and miking him up. And I vlogged, like, if you watch, I'll link the vlog down below. I, like, vlogged a little clip of them getting ready, like, being like, oh, we're gonna be in a magic act. So oblivious. And then he did 3 different card tricks.
Well, do you remember what I said to you while he was getting prepared?
You like asked me what time it was.
Yeah,
right?
I said, oh, did you set this up?
Oh, that's right. You asked me, and I was like, what? And in my head I was like, please, if anyone set this up, it's you. But I still didn't think it was you. I didn't know what it was.
And then I made reference to the time. I was like,
yeah. I think that was
make
after the
reservation.
first card trick. Then you were like, babe, check the time. But we were so acting like he didn't know what was gonna happen. But do you remember all the card tricks? I guess not that important, but they were all dating, like, romantic,
right,
in a way, right?
Yeah, they were definitely leading up to. He had one where he put a 6 of spades in our hand, and then he showed an ace of hearts. Mm-hmm. And then somehow he swapped the ace of hearts from
like
his
we had
hand.
it between our hands like this.
Yeah. And then
and he put that other card on top, right?
Or he just kind of waved
yeah.
it, and then he pulled it back, and then he said, and then he showed the card, and it was the one that was in our hands, and we opened it up, the card,
like, what?
it had swapped.
And we didn't feel anything. I even asked you, I think, I was like, did you feel anything?
Right.
And that was pretty cool. That one was really cool.
Then he did that trick where he had me close my eyes.
Oh, that's cool.
And this one I still can't figure out. He had me close my eyes, and then he walked over to her, and was talking with her and doing something, and I felt something touch me in the nose. And then he did his trick, which I couldn't really tell because I had my eyes closed.
Well, he told me, he said, that's when we were thinking of our special moment. So he had us, like, think of a special time in our relationship that's meaningful to us. And we were supposed to really, like, concentrate on that moment. And then he had Chris close his eyes. I didn't close my eyes, and he did end up touching my nose as he said, keep thinking of that, keep thinking of that, touched my nose. And then he asked Chris, did you feel anything? And he said, yeah, I felt something kind of on my nose. So that was crazy.
Yeah, that one I never figured out.
And there was a crowd of people watching as well, so it's not like he could have went over there and touched his nose without everyone seeing and knowing the magic. So that was really cool. And the next and final card trick was related to that. He asked me to pinpoint the time that special moment happened. That I had been thinking about prior, and that was at 8 o'clock for me. So he set up the cards in, like, the form of a clock layout.
12 cards, each representing a number on the clock.
And he had me focus on the card that represents that specific time, 8 o'clock. So apparently, and I'm so bummed that you guys aren't going to see the actual footage, because apparently I have tells, and I gave little clues to him, I guess, visually, like facially.
Yeah, he said, oh, you have a tell, so I know we don't need any of these.
Yeah.
You wiped out like half the deck.
I said I'm a horrible poker player, so that doesn't surprise me. But he did end up finally picking my card, and then he handed it to Chris, and he wanted Chris to show me the card to say if that was my card. Because we had picked a card, too, prior to that, right? And it had to be, like, the card. And then, I mean, you can tell.
We forgot about the Queen of Hearts.
Well, I think that was part of that one,
No,
wasn't
it
it?
was right before it.
Oh, I forget. You want to tell him? It's another card trick.
Another card trick where he had 4 cards. He said he had all 4 queens. And then he had us pick red or black, and we picked red. And then out of red and black, he said pick hearts or diamonds, and you picked hearts.
Yeah.
And he said love over money, she's a keeper. And then he said I had made a prediction, as I had said, and then he flipped over the card, and it was the Queen of Hearts. And he said, and I was so sure that was going to be picked out, I didn't even bring any other cards, and the other 3 were blank.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He was fun. I really had a fun time with him. Okay, so back to that last card trick. Chris has the card in his hand. I should have brought it, but I'll put a screenshot for you guys. And when Chris... Did you get on your knee right then?
No. He handed me the card.
You tell me this part.
He handed me the card, and then I kind of walked. He had us separated by a good 15
Yeah, we
feet.
were far from each other.
So I walked over to her, and I handed her the card, and I said, is that your card? And when
I flipped it over.
she flipped it over to look at it, and as she did that, I got on my knee.
And it said, "Will you marry me?" on the back of the card. It was blank and had it written out, "Will you marry me?" And I freaked out because then he was on his knee, and he had this really pretty box with the ring in it. Obviously, I'm wearing it now. And I was totally shocked. I honestly had no idea. We've talked about engagement, so it's not like a complete shock that he would ask to marry me, because we've had very like serious adult conversations about it. But I just didn't think it would be then. I really didn't. So he did a good job at surprising me. And you want to tell him what you said?
Yeah. So I was really nervous, and I think I was shaking a little bit. And I was so nervous that I was supposed to say 2 lines, and they got mushed together as one. And I said, "Will you make me the happiest man for the rest of my life?" And it was supposed to be, "Will you make me the happiest man in the world and be mine for the rest of our lives?"
But it still worked.
The point was given.
I still said yes. And I was shaking badly. Like, my hands were shaking so bad. Most of you, if you follow my channel, know that I had a promise ring, and I had it on that day, and so I was trying to get it off, but I couldn't. So I literally was like, "Babe, can you get it off?" So he had to take the promise ring off, then put this ring on. And then when I actually paid attention and saw the ring, I was completely floored, because I just didn't expect it to be as big and beautiful as it is. So I was shaking pretty uncontrollably, and I was doing one of these kind of things. And I didn't cry, because I'm not that kind of person that cries when they're happy. I cry a lot when I'm sad, but...
She didn't want to mess up her makeup.
That's not what I mean. I'm glad that I didn't cry and mess up my makeup, because then we wouldn't have took those cute pictures after, but it wasn't that. And I think I was just in total shock and happy. I was so happy, and could not, like... In the picture, you'll probably see, like, the very first picture we took, I'm smiling so wide. I don't even think I've smiled that wide ever before. Like, grinning.
She just kept saying, "Oh my God, this is so unexpected. Oh my God, this is so unexpected."
I don't remember any of that. I don't remember anything after he got on his knee.
And I stood up to give her a kiss, and she turned around, and she said, "Oh my God, this is so unexpected."
I didn't realize. We did end up kissing, though.
Yeah, she turned back around. I got my kiss.
Okay, good.
And I didn't smear your makeup.
But yeah, it was so wonderful. And that wasn't even it. So, and then the magician guy took some pictures for us, and he said, "I had one last prediction. Let's see if I'm right." And he had kind of like a banner that said his name or his info behind us, and he turned it around and she said yes, right on the back.
Right.
We had some cute pictures with that too.
Which you posted a couple of those pictures.
Yeah, I've already posted all those pictures. And then we had our really beautiful dinner at the Bellagio at Prime, was the restaurant's name, and it was outside where we were sitting outside. There's an indoor area too. But we were sitting out right where the fountains go off.
And we had the best view on the whole patio.
Yeah.
And the weather had cooled down, thankfully.
Yes.
So it was actually quite nice.
It was so beautiful. We saw the show like maybe 4 or 5 times.
And those shows were much better than the 6 o'clock show.
Well, also you were way less nervous, and you were like, "Oh yes, we can celebrate," and that's probably why it was better too. But that wasn't it still. So we had a really nice dinner. It was really elegant, beautiful. We took some pretty pictures there too. And they actually gave us a dessert that said congratulations on it with 3 truffles, which was really sweet of them. And then we went to the love show.
Oh, they had the greatest mashed potatoes too.
Oh, they do, you guys. Best mashed potatoes. And I felt a little bit bad because I told my mom they're even better than hers. And I didn't think anyone could top my mom's mashed potatoes, but those were really good. I don't know what they do. I would just go back for those mashed potatoes. Potatoes. But anyways, we went to the Beatles Love Show after that, which I had already been. It was my second time. Both of us are huge Beatles fan. Chris is like next level Beatles fan. Like, he knows all the trivia. Like, you can ask him a question, I'm sure he'll know it.
Go ahead.
And so it was his first time. I was so excited to see his reaction to all of it, because if you haven't seen it and you love the Beatles, you have to. It's amazing.
Actually, there's so much going on, you have to watch it like 8 times.
Yeah.
They have like 8 different things going on all at once.
Because it's Circus Soleil too, so it's amazing. And then after that, we were going to go to the club, but then we're like, nah, we want to just celebrate and be with each other and, have a romantic, just relaxing time instead of going to the club. So we went back to the room. And my feet are screaming at this point. Like, I am done with my shoes, okay? So we get to the front of the room, and I'm telling this to Chris as we're walking up to the room. And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry, babe, just give me a second. Like, he walks into the room and closes the door. And I was like, I took my shoes off right there. I'm not lying. Right in front of that door, waiting for him. But when he opened the door, I saw that there were rose petals lining up the walkway with candles on the side. It was very romantic and beautiful. And there was like a little like present set up on the counter too. And in there had our gondola ride passes. The next day we went on the gondola ride at the Venetian. It was really nice. The, what's it called? Private gondola ride, right? So it was just us in the ride, which was really nice. And there were flowers and chocolates. My mom knew about this whole engagement process that was going to happen, so she had champagne and chocolate covered strawberries there as a congratulations for us, and she also made this really pretty shadow box for us, and I'll insert a picture here, which was so special. And I'm thinking, and he's so awesome, he allows me to vlog. He's like, yeah, like go ahead and vlog. So as I'm vlogging, he goes, well, that's not it. I have another surprise for you, but you have to come sit down for this. And I was like, what? How could there be another surprise? When I sat down, he had these, like a box. I could tell it was a shoe box. And I forget, do you remember the exact words you used when you opened it? Will you tell them? Because I forget the
I said, whoever's foot fits this slipper is meant to be my queen.
And then we had a moment of, I hope this fits my foot. It did.
Actually, we did it with the left foot, and before I started, he's like, that's a little swollen. You might want to go for the other one.
Yeah. So it did fit, and it was, they look exactly like the live action Cinderella shoes. Oh, we didn't even say that they were Cinderella look-alike shoes. And you did say something like, I know that I call you my Princess Jasmine, but I know your favorite princess is Cinderella, and then you said that line, right? I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. And then he had this amazing glass slipper on a pillow. I should have gotten the pillow to show you guys too, but you probably saw it on the vlog. And on one side it says, will you marry me? And on this side it says, dreams do come true. It's so pretty. I love it. I have this in my room. I see it every morning. So that's pretty much our entire story. I'm so sad that you guys don't get to see him getting on his knee. I'm really sad too, that I don't get to see and relive that memory over and over, but hopefully us being able to tell you the story makes it a little special, and now we'll be able to watch this back too from time to time. And we have the mementos.
I just want to say that it's my dream that came true as well.
Oh, love you.
I love you.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions for us, leave them down below, because we can film like a question and answer video on another video if you like having us together on camera. So I'll leave that up to you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.